Good evening and thank you for coming. And also, I know that this is odd time because I heard that all these sessions happen actually in the morning, but this is an odd time and thank you for adjusting this because we were here for some meetings and it was impossible for us to come in the morning. So I think in the next few minutes what I'll do, I don't know how many of you have heard the name of Goonj or the work which we are trying to do. I mean, the fact remains that on February 18th, just next week, next Sunday, we are turning 25 as an institution and as an idea. What I'll do thank you so much. So, what I'll do is that I'll just share the story, not actually of the organization, but of the idea largely. And this is just a proof point, for us. As I said that it's been 25 years and a lot of people think, whosoever knows us, that we are in the business of collecting and distributing clothes. And that's the image, unfortunately, in some quarter. And I just thought that we will take this time to unpack that and tell you that how important it is to make a dent on the language and the lenses with which all of us are trying to do something good. How important is to really see the non-issues in the world which are bothering us, and if we just tackle some of those non-issues, something good can happen. So the story starts in say 1991. I was a student and I am from Dehradun. Many of you must be knowing this beautiful town in Uttarakhand. And there was a massive earthquake in Uttarkashi. And I went there as a young boy, just with a small camera. And when I was roaming around, purposeless, aimless, just after bunking the classes because I was very keen on photography and writing and all that, I see this person, the first picture, right? And this person is wearing a jacket which is made out of old jute bags, right? Because Uttarakhand, we grow a lot of potatoes, and to pack those potatoes, this was the bag which was used. And he had a chit in his hand and he was asking again and again that he needs a woolen, he needs a blanket, and he says, otherwise I'll die. And I was not able to relate because when you grow up in a kind of financially okay family, you have access to a blanket over your quilt. So you know what is cold, but you really don't know what is cold. Yeah? But this person knows. So because Uttarakhand, I mean in the mountains you have a smaller days. So 4 or 5 o'clock you start worrying that okay, now where will I sleep? Because I never carried any big thing with me, and in those days disaster response was not that organized. Somehow found some space in one of the camp, and the guy told me that take as many blankets as you want and sleep. So I slept, and this was sleeping in a tent in open. I realized what is cold all about, a little bit of it. Same year, I was roaming around on the roads of Old Delhi, and suddenly I see this rickshaw. It is written in Hindi, which says "Police Seva Lavaris Lash ke liye," which means a person picks up unclaimed dead bodies. Right? And please understand that I am sharing a story from India, but it is not just Indian story. That's the most important part. And especially in the troubled time when we are living, all of us are a part of that part of the history where the Afghanistan is happening, Ukraine is happening, Palestine is happening, right? So we know that how this entire refugee crisis, how people who own maybe double-story buildings suddenly become a refugee and what they go through. And so many of my stories will be from India, but I always tell people that it's not just the Indian story, because if you talk about homelessness in India, there are many so-called developed countries where you have much larger number of people, if you see in proportion that way. So anyway, this person full-time job was to pick up unclaimed dead bodies, and for every dead body this person was paid 20 rupees and 2 meters of white cloth. He used to support the local police. So if someone dies on the road, a homeless person, or a person who come to the city of Delhi in search of job, and before they settle down, because of whatever reasons, accident, suicide, murder, to whatever reason, the police, the local system used to take help of Habib Bhai, this person. Now, Habib Bhai is no more, his wife is still alive, Amna ji is still alive. So, I just followed them and spent many days with them. Morning. Huh? This is the photograph of Habib Bhai, and Amna ji, his wife. And Amna ji is 100% blind that way. Right? So, when I started spending time with them, two statements came up, of course, in Hindi. But if I translate, Habib Bhai actually said that in winters his work goes up, and many times he has so much of work that he cannot handle it. This is about the homeless people and the death and all that kind of thing. And to my surprise, I found that in way back, say almost 3 decades back, in the every 24 hours in the range of 4-5 kilometers where Habib Bhai was able to go, he was actually picking up 10 to 12 dead bodies. And in the summers, the average used to be 4 to 5. And like all of us here, I also thought that people are dying because of cold. But then one fine day, you realize that if the cold kills people, even I would have died. So if I survive, someone else dies on the road, it is actually not cold, but lack of clothing. And this is where, this is what I wanted to tell, that, there are large number of non-issues in the world which are taken for granted. Okay? So when you talk about 3 basic needs of humankind, especially in India and many other places, every place, we say roti, kapda, makan, which is food, cloth and shelter. Then clothing we completely take for granted. So you need a flood to be flooded with clothes. So the moment a disaster happens, everyone thinks of clothes. Or it is the easiest possible charitable subject object. If you have something you don't want to wear, you want to discard, you think of someone where it can go. It is considered a basic need, but there has been no proper work on this subject. And when you say half the world does not get 2 meals a day, suppose half the world or whatever million, billion, whatever number is a huge number, with very limited vision, we think that people are hungry. Of course, when you say half the world does not get 2 meals a day or quarter of a world, people must be hungry. But we forget that if you are hungry, you also do not have access to anything. So clothing is not a subject, winters are never considered a disaster. This family had a little daughter, thus our daughter, who is now grown, she is doing her masters, Urvi, but almost of the same age, Habib Bhai had a daughter called Bano, who gave the most shocking statement. Some of you understand Hindi, let me tell you in Hindi first and then translate. She actually said कि जब मुझे ठंड लगती है तो मैं लाश के साथ चिपक कर सो जाती हूँ. She says, when I feel cold, I hug the dead body and sleep. She further said that dead body does not trouble me, dead body does not turn around. As a privileged, urban, educated person, I always read or know that dead bodies are cold, because till that time I didn't know relative poverty, compulsions, nothing at all. My life was very simple that way. Whatever is there in the books, you know that. So this is where this journey started, because no background of any kind of such work, coming from a family of engineers, so no background at all that you can really do that. But this thing started bothering with a series of stories that clothing is ultimately an issue, but it has remained non-issue. A piece of cloth, unfortunately globally, who is poor, who is rich, literate, illiterate, upper caste, lower caste, educated, uneducated, cultured, uncultured. Unfortunately, the first visible sign with which we try to identify a person is a piece of cloth. And that has been completely ignored. So we thought that, not only let's just talk about this particular work, but let's also try to remove some of those misconceptions and the wrong language and thought around this. So first thing is that when people like us, when we give away our used material, and the most common word we use is donation. We say we want to donate cloths, utensil, footwear, whatever. So we had a little bit of objection in this, because we said that if we have already used it, it is actually a discard for us, and we are giving it because we don't need it. So how can we create a halo here and say we want to donate? That's a wrong thought. Rather, you need to be thankful to the people who are using your second-hand material, because they are the keepers of your emotions. They are the keepers of your hard-earned money which you have spent on this material. They are also the keeper of the time which we end up spending in buying such material. Right? And the fact remains that if those people don't exist, we don't know what will happen to this material. Second thing, at the receiving end, we said that what matters in the world, most important part, is actually dignity, the self-respect. Right? A lot of people now, after this or in this journey of 25 years, a lot of people tell us that Goonj gives dignity to people, but we object. We say no, no one can give dignity to anyone. Dignity, only two things can happen. Either you can challenge dignity or you can respect dignity. Otherwise, dignity is a part of soul. Whatever caste, community, color, religion, economic status, geography you're born with dignity. Society only does two things. Either it challenges dignity or it respects dignity. But otherwise, it is there. Right? And I'll tell you how we are trying to do it next. And we also said that this language of donor and beneficiary somewhere is not correct. Because we really have to answer that if I give time, I am a donor. But in any work, if the community is giving time, how come they are beneficiaries? If I am giving a skill, if I am putting a skill, I am a donor. But if the community is putting a skill, how come they are beneficiaries? The fact remains that all of us are a stakeholder. All of us are bringing whatever we have. So someone has money, someone has material, someone has a skill, someone has labor. That's how the good work happens. So if you see the first picture, Pehla jana bridge pe, intro. If you see this picture, right, this is now created by the people of the village. Right? This beautiful, bridge. It is an absolutely sturdy bridge. Unless it's really, really big flood, it will not wash away. This skill comes from them. This material comes from them. This labor comes from them. We only go with the idea. They make it. Is it not unfortunate that even in a country like India, it's a global phenomena, but if you talk about India, the farmers have been able to find out, innovate almost about 8,000 to 10,000 different variety of rice. But farming is still called an unskilled profession. How does it happen? Why I am questioning all this? Because all of us, who are even at 7:30, 7:15 in the night, we are sitting here listening to something like this. Some craziness is there. We have good intentions to do something, but we still don't find that kind of result. Maybe we just have to. So there's no doubt on intention of anyone. There is no dearth of resources in the world. Maybe we just have to tweak a little bit the way we are operating or the way we are thinking. And we said that, can we develop a model where people identify problem, but people become the decision maker? So we will not go to the villages and say that every village will have a road. Rather, the village will decide what is the need of that village, and then they will work on it. Right? So how this entire model is working, and then we will open up. So we collect this material from people. Cloth, utensil, footwear, door, window, wash basin, chair, table, anything and everything. On a simple concept that if a person dies, everyone is sad. When the material dies, it just dies. This kurta might not be useful for me tomorrow because I have access to more kurtas. I can buy more or I have worn it enough. But this kurta has life. This can still live for 2 more years. All these curtains, table, chair, stage, everything can live for much more. So instead of going in landfills, if we just changes the hands, that someone else owns it, it will still live its life. So on those parameters and all, we collect this material in a big way, all variety of material from household, from corporates, from retail chains, short expiry material. So if you have baby oil and that is going to expire in 3 months, or if you have toothpaste which is going to expire in 2 months, it will actually only pollute environment or it will become a problem for the company. But if it comes well on time within 2 months to us, it can go to people that way, because the distribution network needs to be robust for that. So this material comes to us. It goes through very rigorous process of matching the needs of people, because the biggest problem with the donation mindset, with all the good intention, is that we give what we have. We do not give what people need. Right? And India, the world is certainly very diversified, but India also is a very beautifully diversified country. If you see all these 4 or 5 southern Indian states, all states are touching border with each other. Every single state eats rice, and every single state eats different variety of rice. The most common dish in India across the country is called sambar. Many of you must have tasted with dosa and idli. Ingredients are largely same, but the taste is different. That's the beauty. So we said that it is so diversified, can we really try to match the needs of people? So if we are thinking of people, women in mountain, let's not think of a chappal or a sandal, but let's start thinking of a sports shoe, because that's what she needs. So this material comes, it goes through very rigorous process, and then it is converted into a large number of kits. Family kit, relief kit, whole lot of kit. After that, we go to these villages across the country. This is where these communities decide their own work. So the first group of women in a village, they decide that they have to build a road, because they have a main road, but maybe there is no connecting road, say from their school to the pond. So that's what they decide. These guys say that they have to make a check dam. These people in this particular area in Odisha, they decide that there is leftover work of government, because they created something but it didn't happen. So now they will actually take care of this entire road. These guys in Bihar, they are actually now creating a beautiful bamboo bridge. So this is what people decide. They solve their own infrastructure, water, sanitation, environment issue. And after a few days of work, they receive that family kit as a reward. So in a way, it is the revival of the traditional barter economy, or it is a new economy with new currencies, where on one side the currency is urban underutilized material, and on the other side it is the wisdom of the grassroots and the labor of the grassroots. So I want you to now comment and tell me what is this happening. What do you see happening here? I can maybe show you a couple of more pictures. Next, एक बार देखना. All these water related work across the country, again absolutely traditional wisdom, their labor. Next, all these massive plantation, mangrove plantation and all that, because they understand it much better. So all this is just to give you glimpses. If I pick up the data of last 8 years out of 25 years, it is about 45 million kgs of such material which is channelized. We are almost 1,600 people as an organization, work in part of 27 states. And in the last 8 years, some 55,000 such projects across the country in the deeper parts where such water sanitation infrastructure kind of work happened. So I'll stop here for a couple of minutes to invite questions and comments and tell me what is this happening. What do you see this happening? What is different, if at all there is something different?
You have a presence in Goa. So what did you do in Goa? Were you in farmers work?
Goa largely has been the collection center so far. So, I mean, there are 2-3 parts of the work. On one part, it is the implementation which is happening in the largely villages or disaster hit areas or somewhere in the cities also. And the second very important part which we are doing is that in many cities, we do the collection of such material, because that's also becoming a burden on people. And we might not be able to use the same kind of material in the same place, but then it is channelized. So, whatever we collect in Goa, that actually goes to Bombay for the processing, because that's the cheapest possible thing for us. And then across Maharashtra, and the Maharashtra center also take care of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So, that's how many cities are largely the awareness about such concepts, and also collection of material.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
The work that you're doing is phenomenal. It's a win-win situation for both the people like us who are giving, and like we'll call it giving. We are like actually decluttering ourselves, our homes, and it's a win-win. It's a it's very profitable for them also. My question is, are they happy with the family kit? Don't they demand for money for their labor, or I mean, how do you go about convincing, or like what is the kind of understanding?
So, I think one important part is that even if we see our life, 70% of our money ultimately goes in buying material. Fine. Otherwise, we don't need this kind of money, because you will end up eating 3 chapatis, 1 bowl of rice only in the day. So, most of our money goes in material. But what we are not talking again is absolute non-issue, is also very extreme material poverty, okay, in the entire world. And when I say material poverty, I am not talking about the greed part of it. I am only talking about the need part of it. So, in a disaster, when we all give away 10, 20, 30 kg of rice to people and think it's good and people are getting food, we often forget that you also need a pan to cook and a plate to eat. When we see in a disaster and read a news that villages are getting water, it is basically done on the basis of where the tanker is gone, without understanding that the tanker goes but there is no bucket to store it. So, each one of us need clothes, every student needs school material, and it comes as a very big opportunity cost in the remotest part of the country. So, the cost goes up, quality goes down. Right? So, what we can buy in 100 rupees, they end up buying 200 rupees in a much lesser quality, and also often an installment and loan. So, a lot of debt cycle actually people get into that trap is actually because of material. So, there is acute need of material. So, it is literally the way this model is operating. There is huge amount of acceptance across the country, and a lot of people, especially when we entered South and places like Tamil Nadu and Kerala and all, a lot of people said, no, there is no poverty and all that kind of thing, because this is unfortunately we think that Punjab has no poverty, or Kerala does not have poverty. And I personally had a lot of debate with it, that if there might be relative poverty, fine. And I'm talking about economic poverty, I'm not talking about all other kind of poverty. There are 10 different poverty. But if we are so prosper, why people go to other part of the world to become a labor? Why do we migrate to become a labor? That's an important question. That is why there is acceptance. Yes, in some pockets there is much more acceptance, there is some pockets there is less acceptance. But if you are not in the number game, if you do not want to say, million life changed, kind of useless statement, which a lot of people make, and I often wonder that how do you say million life change when you can't change your own life in your lifetime. So, if you are not in a number game, then it's very easy to operate, because wherever you have more need, more such stuff goes. Wherever you have less need, less stuff goes. If in a village there are 500 families in a big village, only 200 families need it, 200 families will work. And because this is called cloth for work, so you will have to get it by doing something. It's not a free distribution. If it is a free distribution, even people like us might go and get it. Who cares? They don't value it. Even we don't value. I mean, when we say they, we don't value anything which comes in free. Also, I think, if we give a shirt to someone and go tomorrow and say this shirt belongs to me, the person will say, yes, it is yours. Right? But when the person has done this entire work, road, etc., you go and say this shirt is mine, the person will say, it might be yours, but I've earned it. So that language is changing. Large number of people don't work for material, to be honest. We have seen it in the last 25 years now. A lot of people are working because this is one of the very few rare concepts where people are valued for what they are. That is the actual dignity, in my opinion. That no one is questioning. No one is saying that only the people who know how to dig a well come out. Because when you create a well, it's not just about digging. Some people need to fix it, some people need to clean the rubble. There's a complete series of things. And that's what people self-organize. That is the reason people are working. Yeah, please.
So I think I missed what you said properly. So I'm going to so the thing is that these villagers or wherever need some things to be done. And they do these kinds of work. And they are rewarded for that work. Is that right?
Absolutely.
In the big picture.
Absolutely.
So they already know the need, right? And they know, you're telling that they have some expertise somewhere or the other hidden within themselves. So what is the bridging now? I mean, is it you're giving them, I'm trying to understand where the giving comes and where the reception comes and where the benefit,
So-
I can see the benefit. It's more than just building anything like this. There's self-respect involved, there's empowerment involved, the other things which are involved.
So in the society, I think what you need ultimately is a nudge.
Okay.
Or you need a catalyst, because
Yes. Okay.
all of us know that we should not cross, but then you need a red light. So it's just that someone goes and someone makes sure, and especially in the world where people are continuously told that you are powerless, you don't have a skill. If you innovate, if you come out with a new variety of rice, it's not an innovation. I do something failed in my institute, even make a small model with my paper or something, that is an innovation, that's a model. So we have constantly told people, we have actually taken away the agency of people. So this is nothing but this is giving that back. Because it's a different kind of, when you go to the villages, and just 10 days back we were in Palghar, 15 days back, and I don't know how many of you know that we call it coconut technology. That many people in this country can actually just roam around with a coconut and can actually tell you that there is water here. And in our life, it is 100% success rate. So they roam around with a coconut, and we can send you the videos, because we ourselves did in Palghar recently. And we have been doing it for last many, many years. So they roam around with a coconut. At a certain position, coconut changes position in your hand. Okay? It changes position. And people like us will laugh. We'll call it superstition. Because if anything is done by the people who are not wearing good clothes, and that whether good or bad I will decide. They do not have a right to say whether this is a good cloth or bad cloth. Whatever they do like this, we always call it superstition. Even in the era when you can scientifically prove a lot of things. But we do not have an answer that 20 years back, 30 years back, when there was no technology, there were no machines, every village in India used to have a well. How come that was happening? There was some traditional wisdom. So what is the relationship between the water inside the coconut and below the earth? That's not our job to find out. Let the scientists prove. And even if science does not prove, that does not mean it does not happen, if it is happening. But it's happening. So I think So if you see, if you go to the villages and you say, you know how to grow mangrove. I have a lot of people in my family from IITs, they don't know how to dig a well. You know. We will only stand with you. You see the magic. And when not acknowledging that is a huge loss for the nation, for the world, because that means you are actually missing out on extra brain, extra hands. Because you are trying to do everything. Aap kuch you wanted to.
So it's more of a comment rather than a question. I'm fascinated by what you've done. It's amazing. It reminds me of Yuval Noah Harari's book, Sapiens, where he says about when the evolution changed, we started telling stories, fictional stories. And one of the biggest, the most successful false fictional story is money. And everybody got convinced in the world that if you have this thing with you, initially it used to be gold coins or something which has a value. Now it is nothing, a piece of paper. But we tell everybody, no, this has a value, this is $1. And then you buy things from that. But you have actually brought us back into the point where that story started to.
Thank you.
I think to answer your question, human mind is in a way wants to do something and then get rewarded from that. So I think you are giving them not just the material they need, you're giving them the dignity. As you said, dignity cannot be given as part of the soul, but you are releasing that part of their dignity because they are doing something for themselves and earning it from that sense without actually having a money that my salary is this, I'm working for this guy and he can sack me.
Yeah.
There's a saying in the West that we actually work for the banks. The Western system is you get a job or a business, you take a loan, mortgage, your house, all your life you work so that you can give back the loan.
I always, in the many sessions with the young generation, I always tell them that what is the hurry, to own a house at the age of 25 or 30? That means you are an employee of a bank.
Yeah, EMI.
Because you only earn for EMIs. You don't earn for yourself, your innovation is killed. The entire time where you can really experiment and take risk, all that is killed because every month you are worried about those 20, 30, 40,000 rupees. And these days, because there is a rat race, you will not only stop at 1 BHK, 2 BHK, you need a villa, because the loan is available. Shall I move ahead? Yeah. So this I have already explained, how does this operate, the entire world. All these beautiful buzzwords which have come in the market now, circularity, climate disaster and all that kind of thing, we didn't know this, but this is what we've been doing for the last 25 years. Next. Now this is one very important picture, and this is the picture of tsunami. Okay, and it's a very common picture of every single disaster. This happens because we do not take economic poverty as a disaster. This happens because we have all this material in abundance. It's already in Hindi, I always say कि पहले मन से गया फिर तन से गया, कपड़े की कहानी. So that means कि you have already discarded it, here. Now you are only looking for a physical channel to discard it, and every disaster gives you that opportunity. This is also a huge mismatch. And the intentions are always good because you ultimately make effort to take out from your, from wardrobe, you also emotionally detach yourself, you pack it, you go to a center to give it, but this is how it lies. Next. So we just saw an opportunity in this, this entire textile, which is one of the biggest wastage. So we, out of 1600 people at Goonj, almost about half of them are involved. Half of them are involved in making whole lot of products out of it. So the cotton cloth will become a sanitary pad, right? Because we also found that how women in the world are forced to use sand, ash, jute bags, rugs, rakes, newspaper, grass, cow dung in the place of sanitary pad. Not because the sanitary pad is not available. That is of course there, but also because a piece of cloth is not available. I mean, I remember 2004-5. I mean, we were very small. The team was small, and I was roaming around in Firozabad in UP, and that's where a story came up, which was a reality of a family, that how this was shared by a woman, that how one of her sister used a piece of blouse, the typical Indian wear with sari, which had a hook, and she died of tetanus. So that's how we started, taking out. So we were the first people to again talk about this issue, and such a simple solution came up. It's nothing. It's again that traditional thing. So in the last 25 years, actually, Goonj has not done anything new. This is 100% environment safe, very cost effective, reusable, biodegradable, because it is a piece of cotton cloth which has come to us. And this also opens up a huge issue. Now, fortunately, we were the first people to open it up. Now it is opened, And this is also goes back to our fundamental theory that it is in our hand that we want to kill the mosquito or we want to treat malaria. So if we want to solve the problem of cities, we have to work in the villages, so that people like me migrate, because I migrated by choice. But all the people who are walking in 2020, they don't migrate, because they migrated in compulsion, most of them. If we want to solve the problem of women's health and dignity and a whole lot of other issues, this small piece of cloth can do wonder. Because if that particular part of your health, is taken care, whole lot of other diseases will not happen. I mean, today, to be honest, in the world, the biggest reason for the uterus removal exactly at the childbearing age and the menstruation age is this piece of cloth or anything which is which we should not use, but we are forced to use. So this is how this entire chain operates. Hundreds of products are created. Even with the last inch of cloth actually goes here, which is called asan. It is for every single kid to sit in the school. But most importantly, 3-4 things what happen, or this beautiful school bag out of your torn jeans and trousers, leftover of that. Now, this is also created by these innovative women. You should feel it later after the session. These are actually your old beautiful singers. These are the audio and video tapes in it. Because as we always say that singer is recycled, singer can be recycled, but the tape is never recycled. So that's how they weave it. So this has become now a big income generation activity for the people, and it is also happening at the root. The only difference we made, apart from these very small range of product, we said that we also have to reverse this entire mechanism of rural employment, because unfortunately rural India or rural parts of the world are always producing for the cities. In a country like India, where your 70% population is still in the rural India, you also have 70% customers. But instead of making a mat for yourself which can be provided for 100 rupees, 200 rupees, you are making a carpet which is 10,000 rupees and 50,000 rupees. So can you start creating something which you can use, so that you don't go and buy the stuff from the market and put again that material poverty stuff, put pressure on yourself. So that's why a whole range of this, I don't know how many of you know, this is called Sujani, Gududi, Godada, Kantha. There are different names, which is made of old cloth. It's just about 3.5 kg of absolute waste cloth filled inside. And it becomes a mattress or it becomes a quilt, depending on what part of the country you actually stay. Next. My last couple of things, and I need your participation. So I want to ask you that who are these people? First picture. Who are they? What do you call them?
Well makers.
Well makers. Yeah, whatever. Let's just talk. Huh? Water warriors. Okay. What else? Villagers. Labor.
People in need of water.
People in need of water. We also have some more labels for them, which are uneducated, poor, unskilled. And I often wonder that if you can create such beautiful well, how are you called, or who can call you unskilled, actually? And once the work is over, in the government data, in the organization's data, they are also called beneficiaries. Fine? We are just reversing this thing also. We are saying they are actually not beneficiaries. They are paying in a currency what they have. So they have a currency called skill and labor. They are rewarded in a currency what we have, which is called material. So it's a barter between two new currencies, but the fact also remains that everyone out here is a stakeholder. No donor, no beneficiary. Next. And if we convert it into monetary thing, just to give you a small figure, we operate on a budget of INR 60-70 crore, which is less than $1 million. And if we just add a very basic cost of the material which otherwise would have gone in the landfills, that is almost another 80 CR. And if we also try to monetize or put a figure to the labor which people do for all these work and the kind of material they bring, is another 60 CR. So what we are trying to tell the world, that if we just open up on what you said, the story which was sold, and if we resell the story and we say that money is not the only currency, there are many more currencies, fine. And if all those currencies come together, even when you spend 60 CR, you have a working capital of 200 CR. And these are very rough figures, just to give you an idea. Any comment? And then my last part, 2 more pictures.
Just to understand it, the material, first thank you for this very new type of work which has been widely regarded in the world and in India, an international award. Just trying to understand, so the material that you collect would be given off possibly free by the one who's donating, and your collection happens and then you reprocess it. Who pays for all that?
So this entire money comes from largely individual CSR funding and all that, because we are registered as a trust, as a society.
You need money to process it.
Absolutely.
Transport it.
Absolutely.
And then at the delivery point.
Absolutely.
So how do you compensate a person if there are 10 people working in the village to do a job? How do they know that the cost of bag that each person is getting is proportionate to his or her contribution of?
So this is the most, I mean, it's a very beautiful thing you raised this. I would have forgot otherwise. It is not transactional. It is not that if you work for 3 hours, you will get this, work for 6 hours. It's an absolutely different way of doing something and receiving something. You are choosing what is needed. We are not even debating on need and want. I mean, there is a very beautiful case study with us that in Kashmir, we suddenly got a call and these villagers wanted that, they must have heard from some other villages. Like in Hindi we say, na, gaon mein khabar aag ki tarah phailti hai. So the news spreads like fire in the villages. That's a saying in India. So they must have heard. So they wanted us. We went there. And it was like few hours walk, climb up. And when we went there, we as a team, the team thought that, ultimately we have to make a road because there is no road. And the village people, they said, no, we don't need a road. Road eventually will happen. We need a dangal. Dangal is a wrestling space. Okay? And you say, what is this happening? Fine. But because we don't debate, because we understand that they know their priority much better and they know the logic behind that, so we agreed. We had no option. So a very beautiful dangal that space was made. We were also very lucky because in the same year Amir Khan's movie was released. So it became a,
Was it after that?
yeah. So it became a beautiful story. I mean, we were very lucky that this movie came in the same year. But after that we realized, when we started understanding the impact of that, they said that how this brings the community together. How every few months, a fair happen and huge amount of business happen. How this is the center of the social life for them in such, deep mountains. So that is why, people participate in it. So it is not like a compensation to them. In many cases, in the first time, material is a trigger point, but not in the second and the third kind of work. Because if you know that you can make 100 meters of road and there is a possibility of people coming together and doing it and getting acknowledged for this, people do make 500 meters also.
You still got to make the judgments that who will get one bag for 1 day's work, 2 days work.
3 days work. So that's a standard 3 days work we do. And one person from the family is mandatory, but 3 people can also come. That's their voluntary work, that way. But there are certain works, if you see check dam, okay? Check dam will go on for a month. There are work which will happen in, say, now the summers are coming, and you'll see only in the morning and the evening happen. So those work actually goes on for 15 days, 20 days. It is not like flat 3 days, 4 days work.
So what will they do with extra material?
There's no extra
The
material.
esteemed family, if it's working for a month and gets 7-8 bagfuls,
They'll get one bag.
whether they work for 30 days or
They work for,
3 days,
even if they work for 2 months.
Because there is
It's up to them how much they do about it, because it's their work. It's their work. And there were enough debates, and we used to really
but
go.
they still need to earn money to live. So I can't be working freely for 2 months. For 3
But why do you work for 2 months? Because as a model is very simple. We will never enter in a village when the Narega is happening, that employment guarantee scheme happening, or harvesting is happening, or any activity which gives you money is happening. We will never enter in that village. It's not either or, it's and. It's something like you keep earning money wherever you get a chance, right? But say 5 days in 6 months, you earn material. And the money which you earn, the work is decided by someone else. The job work is decided by someone else. Material you earn, you are also the decision maker, that what problem you want to solve. Next. This I can send you, this is just data. Next. This is important, this is what we are saying, that it is, so this is the term which is going on, and let's see how this becomes a part of the dictionary in the years to come. Because we are saying it's not about recycle and all that, it's about Goonj, because Goonj is a larger concept, it's an idea and the ideology. It's not just a physical act, that way. Important, sorry.
Just a question. Of course, your work has character and it has demonstrated its success, and you know the extent of success. But purely from a charity point of view, you think the model could not have, as you began to collect material and take it to people who need the material, but then of course you need to be funded for collection and processing and giving. So there wouldn't be donors in India or globally who would fund you for that, and then you could take the material directly from so-called donor to so-called the persons who need, because otherwise there's a chain is getting broken. I need it, I'm not able to work, my family doesn't get it. This family gets it, then he has to donate to me. I'm just wondering, if there are no donors, you have found an innovative method where the work is getting...
Actually there is no family where you don't have people who cannot work, right? And also there are exceptions. If you have pregnant women, if you have elderly people, of course there is always an exception. Whatever they need will go to that village. Because that's an important part. We will not leave those elderly people because there is no one to work. And the 10% cushion we will always keep. So that's how it operates. Charity is not that bad also. Sustained charity is a problem. Instant charity is not a problem. If someone is hungry, you need to feed. But you can't make it a habit that every day you come and I'll feed. That's where you take away the agency. Next. So my last thing, and want your reaction on this picture. I mean, to be honest, as a policy at Goonj, we are completely against these pictures. Never in our communication you will find such pictures, because we have been arguing in the world that how long the world will sell poverty to remove poverty. It has not worked. Right? But in this presentation and these rooms, this is an important picture, and we'll just make it very participatory for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I want your reaction that when you see this kid in pictures or physically, what is that first word, sentence, thought comes in your mind? Let's be absolutely honest and let's just react. क्या सोचते हैं हमारे, क्या शब्द आता है हमारे दिमाग में? Helpless, poor, oppressed, unhappy, desperate, huh? Looking into the future. What else? I feel the kid is hungry. I don't see any chance of this kid going to the school. He's also afraid of something. He's also asking for something. Am I right? Anything else?
He needs clothes.
He needs clothes.
Parent is also exposing the child to demand something,
Parents are exposing the child to demand something. People have also told in big halls that the guy does not have parents. Future is uncertain. So if we just do 5 more minutes, every single negative word will come out. Yeah? Next. Please react.
Smart.
Smart, confident, satisfied, not hungry, proud. He for sure has parents. Parents are not exploiting. He has better chance to go to the school. So just wanted to prove after an hour of this conversation that it is not actually the story of cloth. Because in 1 minute, if that kid was hungry, this kid is also hungry. If this kid does not have parents, this kid also does not have parents. In 1 minute, you can't have parents again. So it's not the story of cloth, but see how with a piece of cloth, we start looking at things completely in a different way. So it is the story of those lenses and language, as we say, what we are trying to talk about. Next. Look at him. I mean, I often tell people that if this person comes and stands next to me, the first thing I do is that I start taking care of my wallet and mobile. Fine. 2020, across the globe, people were walking. Me and you were not walking. People who were financially, coming from financially weaker section, most of them were walking, largely most of them. And the shops were closed with small locks. Material was full. There was desperation. There was hunger. Not even a single shop was broken. But these are the perceptions. If a person who is actual thief come and stand next to me, I'm okay. But this person comes next to me, I'm worried. Next. See, the same person. Next. Now, how many of us will go to the village and actually sit with him, We'll call him for the meeting, and if he comes for the meeting, how many of us will listen to him if he gets a chance to speak? Next. And we call him Kaka. Both the people have same wisdom about agriculture, village, life, experience, everything. And the fact remains that if this person is there, I'll call him. This person is there, I'll go to him. If I speak in Hindi, I'll say isko, I'll say inko. Next. Thank you. Thank you very much.